All right, let's look at this real quick, right? Passport bro. A term used to describe a specific mindset and lifestyle choice adopted by men who have decided to pursue relationships with foreign women from different cultural backgrounds, often in countries outside their own. Okay, makes sense. I mean, I agree with what I'm saying so far. Mm. One of the key motivators for many of them is the desire to find a woman who authentically embodies femininity both inside and out. All right, cool.
Have decided to pursue relationships with foreign women from different cultural backgrounds, often in countries outside their own. And think about why she is leaving her country, family, friends, etc. to be with you. Number two, immigration is a nuisance.
I don't need her to read for me. We know how to read. So let's check this out. Let me drink some protein real quick. Lessons I learned marrying a foreign woman of 21 years. Listen, I've never read this a day in my life, right? But we're going to check it out. Just something to be aware of, even though I still date women from all over the world after my divorce. I'm going to try for a woman. Think about why she is leaving her country, family, friends, etc. to be with you. All right, let's check something out real quick. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not even going, I don't know what that means. So I'm going to get home. I'm going to Google that definition real quick, right? GAN. If you don't know, I'm going to Google it for you. I ain't the only one, I'm sure. GANUY. Honestly, they misspelled it. It's actually supposed to be uh GMY. It's supposed to be GAMY, but whatever. Refers to the tendency to seek a romantic or marital partner who is perceived as having higher social, economical, or status value than oneself. I want to repeat that again. Refers to the tendency to seek a romantic or marital partner who is perceived as having a higher social, economical, or status value than oneself. Plain English definition: dating or marrying up in terms of money, status, education, influence, or lifestyle. Oh, let's break this down, right? Let's break this down, right? Let's break this down for everyone, right? So we're all on the same page. There's a reason you went overseas to find a foreign woman to be in her feminine role or submissive or cook or clean or whatever you think that they do outside of your particular country, right? Allegedly, right? Because I think it's a myth, right? I've dated women from outside of the country. I don't think all of that is true, right? I think some of the things that men go overseas and search and find allegedly, they can find overseas. I mean, they can find in the States. And a lot of the issues that I've had dating outside of America, I've also had those issues dating inside of America. Right? Think about why she's leaving her country, family, friends, etc. Let's break this down even deeper. I read posts right on Reddit about men that are going to live in foreign countries with women. Right. Here is my thing. Right. Let's say I'm the breadwinner. Hypothetically speaking, let's say I am the breadwinner. Right. Why would I go and live in poverty? If I am the sole breadwinner, right? If my income is taking care of the bills and the food and the hair and the nails and the clothes and the electricity and the rent and the water bill, if my income is taking care of all of those things, why am I going to go live in poverty? I mean, assuming it's poverty, right? She could be in Dubai or Singapore or Malaysia or the Netherlands or Germany, assuming it's poverty, right? But a lot of these places specifically, people are going to Philippines, poverty. Mm. poverty. A lot of the top places that passport bros go to is poverty. They're not finding women that's educated. They're not finding women that have a graduate degree. They're not finding anyone that has a PhD. They're probably not going to find one that has a high school diploma. Because here's the thing, from someone who dated, right, a woman that was from another country, right, from another continent, right, a lot of these good schools or halfway decent schools or schools that give you transcripts that actually mean anything, right, cost money, right? I was my ex, right? She told me, she said, hey, the good schools are costly, right? The country run schools, the local schools, is you just going there and showing up. It means absolutely nothing, right? And when I was looking at, because at one point in time I was talking to this woman in a DR, right? She was a dentist, right? Beautiful lady, right? Honestly, messing it up was one of the biggest mistakes I've made. One of them, I've made a few. But I was looking at degrees transferring. This is website, man, it's an educational website. I forgot what it is, right? You can Google it yourself, chat GPT it, but it'll tell you which universities in other countries have credits that transfer to American credits, right? And that goes back to my point of some women that are living in poverty and going to these free schools, right? Assuming they went to college, credits don't transfer, so it's basically useless. But to the point, women are leaving for the same reason men are coming. Pause. You're looking for something in that woman, and she's looking for something in you. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Ex-
Matter of fact, I don't need her to read this. Immigration is a nuisance. Expect dealing with nonsense for several years and spending thousands of dollars. Let's break this down, right? I I don't. When I got married, I don't think I spent less than. I don't think I spent less than 2,000, and I don't think I spent more than 4,000. Right? I think, man, let's say I spent 3,500. Right? Hypothetically speaking, random number. Let's say I spent 3,500 on paperwork, right? Because I had a lawyer do it. Of course, you can get it done yourself, right? You don't need a lawyer to do it for you, but I paid a lawyer to do it just to give me a little bit, more security, right? Let's say I spent 3,500, random number. Me going to see her is going to cost more than 3,500 if I'm going to see her a few times a year. Me going to live in poverty is going to cost me a lot more than 3,500 because one, if the national average or the country average is let's say $600 a month for middle class, right? Hypothetically speaking, right? Let's say middle class is $600 a month, right? Hypothetically speaking, right? Hypothetically, of course. And I'm making $10,000 a month in the States. Is it more beneficial for her to come over here to the States and live with me? Or more beneficial for me to go to a foreign country and try to make $600 a month? Or open up here's the thing. Here's the top few things, top few businesses that men go overseas and create, make, build for women. One's laundry, salons, right? Salon and nails is going together. Restaurants, coffee shop. Listen, 9 times out of 10, if you meet a guy, right, and he has a woman in Asia, right, it's one of those four things: salon, nail shop, laundry, restaurant, coffee, tea, bar. There's one of those four or five, 99.9% of the time. I do not suggest, right, going overseas and being with a woman unless you have a very, very profitable business back in the States, unless you have a decent income. 9 times out of 10, let's say the minimum wage in America is $35,000 a year. You're not making $35,000 a year working in the Philippines. You're not making $35,000 a year working in Pattaya. You're not making $35,000 a year working in Bali. This is why I feel, listen, I know guys that have done it. I do not suggest a man should go overseas, find his wife, and move over there where she's at. And I'm gonna get into that in another video. Maybe this one, but let's see what three said. Two basically nonsense. Uh just pay $2,500, $3,500, less than 5,000, get it out the way, have her come to where you're at. Now I could tell you why in another video. There's no nonsense for several years, right? You're gonna spend 3,500, right? Less than 5,000. You're gonna get the paperwork, the packet. She's gonna have everything she needs to come through immigration. You're gonna file for the social security card, this, that, and the third. Don't ask me how I know. I don't know what he's talking about, but it's easy. American citizen, here she is. I don't know about this new immigration. Uh, because I did mine a long time ago, but it was pretty easy, right? It was pretty easy. Your wife will eventually be Americanized. The more exposure she has here and builds a circle of friends, she will eventually have the same standards and expectations. So hypothetically, of course, you find a woman in poverty. Hypothetically, of course, you find a woman in poverty, living in a village, living in a two-bedroom, seven people in the house. Her mom stayed there, her grandma stayed there, her granddad stayed there, her uncle and aunt stayed there, her nieces stayed there, her brother's kids stayed there, her sister. Listen, I've seen it, right? You ask a woman about herself and where she stay at, there's seven people living with her. All right, so to his point, eventually she will eventually have the same standards and expectations of American women. She'll be American. So let's say a woman was struggling, she was in poverty, her shoes had water soaking through the bottom of them because there was a hole at the bottom of her sole. She had two pair of jeans, right? She didn't know where her next meal was coming from. She had an iPhone 4. All right, let's take these things into perspective. You think when she finds a man that has a little bit more money, she's not gonna want an iPhone 16 Pro Max? You think she's not gonna want better shoes and better clothes and a better coat and a better jacket? Of course, when you take a woman out of poverty, she's obviously not gonna have a poverty mindset. That's just common sense. Most of your vacation will be visiting her home. I'm glad glad we talked about this. Her home country to visit friends or family, especially when you have kids. Plus, you have numerous trips per year. The more money you make. Listen, I wanted to talk about this. Right? I'm glad this. Listen, I've never read this before. I wanted to talk about this. I'm glad this came up, and it goes back to living in a foreign country with a woman. I know a guy that did it, and here's the thing about living in a foreign country with a woman. That's a manipulation tactic. Because guess what? She's in poverty, hypothetically speaking. She's in poverty, right? You go get a nice apartment, condo, house, whatever the case may be. You build a house for 50,000, whatever the case may be. I'm telling you, pay attention. Her grandma gonna be there, her aunt gonna be there, her cousin's gonna be there, her brother's gonna be there, her sister's gonna be there. It's gonna be 20 people in your house. Listen, check this out. Follow me now. You think her grandma and her mom's gonna stay in her house with no air conditioning or no heat, right? Or they gonna come over to your house? Think about it now. Think about this for a second. You think her grandma, her mom, right, is gonna stay in her house, in their house with no air conditioning, no heat, roaches, rat, mice, termites, all sorts of stuff, insects, rattlesnakes, uh, 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 raccoons. You think her mom, her grandma is going to continue living in poverty, right? When their granddaughter and their daughter has a nice house 15 minutes away. Think about it now. Think about it. And this is what I don't suggest. Listen, I never read it before. I'm glad this came. This is why I do not suggest men to go live in foreign countries. Because your house is going to be full of her relatives. Some of these people overseas now, they don't have running water. I've seen a woman, her bathroom was outside. I'm gonna repeat this again. You think they're gonna go and take a number two outside in that shed in the wintertime, or they're gonna come over your house and take a number two? Women that force men, I ain't gonna say force, women that convince men to move over there in their country are manipulating those men. They don't know any better. Because I'm telling you right now, I've heard it, I've seen it. Her family members aren't going to be sitting in that apartment, that house, with the water leaking in buckets when you got a nice house 15 minutes away. They're going to be right over there at your house. Do not ever, under any circumstance, I don't suggest it. Do what you want. Go over and live with the woman in a foreign country. And he said it, and I'm glad he brought it up. And I didn't want to talk about this earlier when we was talking about bringing her over, right? And why you should bring her over. If you go over there, your house is gonna be the family house. You're not gonna get no sleep. You're not gonna have none of this. How you have some of that when a mother's there and the kids is there? Kids running around. Listen, do not ever, ever, under any circumstances, do that. Most of your vacation will be visiting her home country to visit friends and family. Listen to me. Listen to me for a second. If one, I would never do this. Two, I would never do this. Three, I would never do this. But to the point, no woman's going to tell me how many times a year I'm going over there to visit her family. Let me repeat that again. No woman's going to tell me how many times a year I'm going overseas to visit her family. We want to set some stuff in stone. Hey, we're going to this country once or twice a year, but we also, let's go to here, let's go here, let's check this out, let's check this out. If a woman's telling you how many times a year you're going to go over there and visit her family, you, you're not a man. You're like, that's, take your man card and throw it across the river. Please be aware of how complex and how expensive an international divorce is. Many countries do not have divorce treaties with the US. Your wife kidnapping your children, going back to her home country is a nightmare, and sometimes there is very little you can do about it. This is common. This is more common than you think. Even if you get custody, sharing kids with two different countries suck. A good international divorce attorney is rare and very expensive. Many countries don't do 50-50 quality distributions. Based on who did the contributions doing that. Let me break this down too. In Philippines, right, Thailand, places like that, you can't own a house. You can't go there and buy a house, right? You can't, right? They're gonna have 51%, you're gonna have 49, and if things don't go south, it's gonna be theirs, and they'll be laughing to the bank. They might sell it and cash out. Don't go live this. I don't suggest it. Do what you want. Don't go live in a country, right? But specifically, do not go and buy land, house, businesses in the country, right, where you can't be the majority owner. If I'm giving 50, 60,000 to a business, a restaurant, a coffee shop, a laundry place, whatever the case may be, and I'm not the majority owner, I'm an idiot. Respectfully, of course. My I love I believe a man should be provided, but there are limits to the nonsense. That's like me just giving her 60,000 and saying, do what you want with it. Bro, a lot of men are manipulated by love for what they think is love. A lot of women are taking advantage of men mentally, physically, sexually, to have them do things that they should not be doing. Should they love bomb you? They tell you everything you want to hear. They treat you right temporarily, playing the long game. I'm gonna talk about that. I have a Philippine video coming out soon, not soon enough, but it talks about that. A lot of women are playing the long game. Hey baby, I love you. They gonna WhatsApp you, video call you 20 times a day on Instagram and Facebook and all these other messaging platforms and treat you so good. They're gonna love bomb you. Hey baby, what do you think about buying land? Okay, land's cheap. All right, we can do that. All right, baby, let's put a business on land. Let's buy a house. Oh, we don't gotta buy it all in one day. Maybe we can. All right, let's set the foundation. Let's do this. She's gonna manipulate you and play the long game and to ensure that if things go south, she has a backup. She has a plan B. She has assets. And this is very true. And here's my thing. I'm gonna break it down to you. Right? I'm gonna give you some free game. If you go get married and pick random country, right? Hypothetically and allegedly, right? You go get married in a random country and you're from Houston. Does the Houston clerk's office know you got married? I mean, that's all. I mean, you say, I mean, you think what you want to think. I'm just saying, like, you might be married in Indonesia. You might be. While you married in Houston. Does the clerk office have a copy of your marriage certificate? Has it been authorized? What's that thing called? You know what I'm talking about. When you get a second person, they gotta stamp it. And uh, uh, I remember I had to get my birth certificate translated from Spanish to English. It's a whole bunch of stuff. Just because you're married in a foreign country, don't necessarily mean you're married in the States. But if you went through the immigration process and you brought over, of course, right, 9 times out of 10, you produced it in some way, shape, fashion, or form. But do not go and buy property. Many countries don't do 50-50, and I talked about that. Do not go buy property. Do not go live there. And most importantly, don't go searching for love in all the wrong places. Take your time, be patient, let love come to you.